Welcome everybody. Doing another build today, maybe. This is a pallet wood build. These are oak. They're not really in the greatest shape, but I'm going to run them through the planer, see if I can clean it up and possibly make a Father's Day gift out of it or something along those lines. Maybe not. Maybe just something decorative for my house. They're not very long. When I cut this pallet down, I used a circular saw and just cut it at all the stringers. But we'll see if it cleans up. Hardwood pallets are getting hard to find in my area. They're mostly all pine now, so because I have some oak, I actually want to use it. So first things first, I'm gonna get my planer going and run them through. I did have to put a board on there because these are so thin, it's below minimum spec for the planer. And I did go through and make sure there was no nails or anything left in it. So yeah, I'll set up a tripod and we'll get started. All right, decided to do this off the ground. It was just too many pieces to keep bending over and picking up and everything, so set up the workbench real quick, and I already lowered this a half a turn. Expect this, but this actually looks more like a piece of cherry than oak. So I'm actually going to set this one aside and use it for something else after I get them all planed. But yeah, that's definitely not oak. It's this longer than all the other ones, lighter, has that pinkish hint to it, and the grain on it really does. I think it's cherry. So I'm going to keep going, but just thought I'd point that out. What I'm going to do is just run these through the table saw to get a straight edge on them. So I'm just going through, putting a smooth edge on each side. If you take a look, I was going to run it through with a level, but these are actually shorter than my table saw fence. So I don't know if you can see that, but no gap at all. It's getting it nice and smooth. I will, when I cut them to length, have to cut off the cracking. I'm still going to have to contend with the holes from the nails being pallet wood, but it should work out okay. I'll put the worst side on the inside and this on the outside. But I'm just going to keep going, plugging away. So real quickly, I'm just going to take the miter saw and cut a straight edge on each of them. I'm going to try with all of them that have holes really close to the end to buzz those off. But I don't know how much board that's going to leave me. So we'll see. And I'll cut them all to final length after. I just want to get that off of there. That was about as close as I could do, but you can still see that a split kind of went a little further, but I'll put that on the inside. It's not on the outside. I'm going to go through and just hit every one. All right, so I just set up my stopper to 16 inches, so I'm going to cut all these down to that length, essentially. Nice and level, it's just backed against that. And I'll have a straight edge on all four sides after I do that. So this should go nice and quick. Just like that. Should have 12 of these when I'm done. So I've got these all laid out. You can see I cut them all at an angle, 32 degrees I think to be exact, because there's 11 of them. All right, so we got those all laid out on 3 rows of tape. I'm gonna lay some glue in here, just a bead in each one, and then try rolling it up. My outside tape line didn't really cooperate. I really probably should have measured first, but I think it should still be okay. But I'll grab some glue and we'll just kind of get going. All right, so I've never tried this before, but I do have glue down all the seams. So I'm gonna try rolling this up. Let's see what happens. You know what? I didn't think to put glue on that very last seam. So I will do that real quick before I fully connect these. think I had one too many pieces on there. So we'll try this one more time before we give up on this, because this is something I've always wanted to try. So it's not pretty, but it's technically working. All right, so my battery died for a while, so you missed a few things, but I'm just making a quick base for this. This is some other pallet wood I had that I actually ran through the planer. I have a ton of it. This is actually just pine, but I have so much of it, I figured I might as well just use it. But gluing up 4 of those right now, that's gonna be the base. Then I need a post to put this on, and then I'll probably just wrap that post with, I don't know, rope or something along those lines. I'm kind of just making this for my cats. It's going to be a scratching post, but I figure I'll throw a towel or something in there and they can get in there and sleep or do whatever they do. They're cats. I was initially thinking of just making like an oak barrel out of this, but when I saw the condition of my cat's current scratching post, I figured I better make them one or buy them one. And since I had some pallets kicking around, why not? For the center pole, I'm thinking I'm just going to use one of these. I have some pallet 4x4 posts. Well, they're 3x3, but I can run those through the planer too and get them good enough. I mean, it's going to be wrapped with rope anyways. So yeah, that could work. Or if that's not enough, I have these, which are also pallet stringers. I could glue them together or something along those lines and also wrap them with rope. So I have more pallet wood over here too. I don't really use this stuff, but I have so much of it, I'm trying to get rid of it. So I'm about done for the night. Just letting that dry up overnight. And I gotta let this dry up a little longer before I can sand it and clean it up at all. It didn't come out as good as I thought, but I don't think my cats are really gonna notice. All right, it's the next day, I'm back. Found this piece of 4x4 scrap that I'm gonna use as the post. It's only about 28 inches. I was hoping for 30, but it'll work. My base is now glued up. So what I'm gonna do, I've never tried this, so I hope it works. I'm gonna lay some wood glue on it because it's all I have. And I'm gonna lay some carpet over it. Hopefully that will do. I don't know if that'll actually hold it or not, but we're gonna try it. So I'm gonna spread some glue and be right back. So I laid my carpet up face down. And I spread glue over the entire top of this. So I'm just gonna plop it on there and then probably set some weight on it and hope for the best. Right about there should do. Some threads coming out of this thing. I don't think it'll be a huge deal, but it's still happening. But that's why I'm using it, because it is an old scrap piece of a rug that we don't use anymore. All right, so I got it all screwed down. Some of them kind of buried in, you can't really see, but just ran several, all folded over, pulled tight. And that's basically what the base is going to be. Then the post will come up. I'm going to wrap that post in rope, I guess. I can't think of anything else I could use, so I just wanted all the screws hidden so the cats wouldn't hurt their paws. But this should do, and they should really love beating the crap out of it. So I drilled a hole down and then chiseled out an area so I could keep the initial rope knot hidden. And then basically I'm just going to wrap it from there after I get it bolted onto that base, which I'm about to do right now. So I just screwed that down, upside down, of course. You see my rope sticking out the back, but yeah, just 4 screws going straight into it. Now I can just flip it up on the bench and start twisting rope, but I may not do that. It's getting kind of hot out here. It is June, but yeah, not a bad stopping point for a little while. So I'm on to the hardest part of this whole thing, which is coiling this 100-foot rope around it. I do need to press it down to get it all good and tight, but so far it's going pretty well. Haven't really put too much of a dent in that bundle, so it should take about a whole 100 feet to do this. So yeah, we'll keep going, see how it goes. This thing fully wrapped, nice and tight. I held it in with 2 screws at the top. I notched it the same way I did the bottom. And when I do finally mount that piece on, which isn't ready yet, it still has to be sanded, all that, I gotta pre-drill some holes. But yeah, then it'll be done. So I just cleaned the outside with mineral spirit, and I'm just gonna show you an interesting comparison. I don't know if you can see this. Well, you kind of can. See these lines in it? That's called flecking. White oak does that, but red oak doesn't. So like when you come down to this piece here, you see it doesn't have any of that. But this piece has a bunch of it in through here, and this one has it all the way across. In a few areas it's silky smooth. I sanded it to 120, but yeah. So that's kind of interesting. I'm curious what it'll look like when I put some oil on it. But then we can just screw it to the top of that. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to screw it down because I can't get either of my drills in there, but I'll figure something out. All right, so I just drilled some holes through. Those are going to be my 3 mounting screws, so I can screw it down on top of it. So I have a few 1.5s. So I'm going to start those. These are good because I can actually get in there with a little stubby screwdriver and wind them in most of the way, and then move the whole thing down and get right on it. So that is what I'm going to do now. Down, just 3 screws going through. I don't recommend those screws. The heads on them, they didn't even really slip and they stripped out, so. Not bad, right? All right, there she is. Just a single coat of finish on it. Use tung oil because it's pet friendly. But yeah, we'll let that dry a couple days before I bring it in. And then we'll let the girls tear away at it. Most important thing with tung oil is make sure you dispose of this rag properly. These are highly flammable. I'm gonna lay it flat in my fire pit outside. So if it does ignite, then it will be at least in the fire pit. Same with that rag. I did spill some on the floor, which I'll wipe up with that too and do the same thing.